Good day to you and welcome to North London Narratives. So today we're going to be talking about Mik- Mikautadze because if the reports are true and Tottenham are looking at him as a potential number nine, I think there's actually a really interesting debate to have here. And I want to keep this simple. Is let's just call him Mika because I don't think I can pronounce his name. Is Mika actually the type of striker that Tottenham need under Roberto De Zerbi? I've seen a lot of people saying that yes, he's a perfect fit. Oh, buy him, buy him. But I want to do a deep dive for you people and let you know my thoughts on the player because on the surface there's some things that are nice about him, but there's also one massive problem that I think a lot of sports fans are not talking about. Excuse me. So let's break it down. The first thing I have to say is he's 25 years old, he's a striker, he's right footed, and he plays for Villarreal. And last season, he had a very good campaign, no doubt. He scored 13 goals and provided 6 assists in 32 appearances. That is 19 goal contributions. And what I really like about those numbers was that his goals weren't just coming from nowhere. His expected goals were 11.4, so he slightly outperformed his XG. And he also had 6 assists, which tells you that he's not just a striker who just wants to stand in the box and wait for chances. He can also contribute to the build up and assist other people. And that becomes important when we start talking about Roberto De Zerbi. Because when you look at De Zerbi's football, you don't necessarily want a striker who's just going to stay between centre backs for 90 minutes. You want somebody who can participate, somebody who can drop into space, somebody who can combine with the attacking midfielders and the wingers, somebody who can get himself into the box. And also, in my opinion, that is one of Mika's biggest strengths. While I would say he is quite a technical striker. He's comfortable receiving the ball. He can combine with players around him. He isn't afraid to move away from the traditional number nine position. So from a technical perspective, I'd say that there's actually a very good fit here. And then you look at his chance creation. Mika produced 6 assists despite having 2.5 expected assists. He created 28 chances and 7 big chances. So this isn't a striker, as we established earlier, that is selfish. He can create for other players. And I think that's important for Tottenham because if De Zerbi is going to build an attack around combinations, movements, having a number 9 who can actually participate in those combinations is very valuable. But then we get to the part that I think makes Mika very interesting. His movements inside the box. He had 140 touches in his opposition penalty area last season. And that's a very good number. He likes getting into dangerous areas. He's a very good finisher. He scored 13 goals from 11.4 xg. His goal conversion was around 20%. So when he gets opportunities, he's capable of putting them away. And that's something that Spurs desperately need. Having Richarlison and Solanke for the last couple of years. Because we've seen Tottenham have periods where we create chances and we don't have that ruthless number 9, like Harry Kane was for us, who can turn those chances into goals. Even in preseason, we've seen that. And I think Mika can help with that. But now we have to talk about the biggest concern. Because De Zerbi said in his press conference that Tottenham must need height. Hence the Gakpo link. We need height because our team isn't necessarily the biggest. Yeah, you have Vicario, I said Vicario. You have Van de Ven and you have Van Hecke. And maybe Udogi that's like 6 feet tall. And I think the rest of the team is quite small. Hakpo could help with that. But Mika is around 175 to 176 centimeters tall. And this is why I have a problem. Because if Tottenham are looking for a number 9 who gives the team more physical presence, Mika doesn't solve that problem. He's not a big target man. He's not somebody who you're going to hit long balls towards, and he's going to dominate centre backs in the air from set pieces. His aerial duels are one of his biggest weaknesses. He won only about 23% of his aerial duels last season. And we Spurs are thinking we need a striker who can give us more height, more physicality, and more presence against low blocks and deep defenses. The Mika probably isn't the answer to that. And this is why I think Tottenham need to decide the type of number 9 that they want. because Mika is very similar to, or is very different to the traditional Premier League number nine. He's mobile, he's technical, he can drop deep, he can combine, create, attack space, finish, but he's not going to physically bully defenders. He's not going to win aerial battles. He's not going to give you that obvious physical outlet. He's not like an Haaland or a Haaland that just bullies defenders and is just so strong and just so big and Haaland, basically. If you're liking what you're hearing so far, please leave a like and please subscribe. Please share the video. Turn on post notifications all so you know when I drop videos and when I do go live as well. I don't just talk about Tottenham, I talk about every team. I'm a football fan. I'm a Spurs fan, but I'm a football fan as well. So yeah, back to Mika. So there's another thing I really like about him, and that's his movement. If you're talking about wingers or playing with wingers, attacking midfielders who want to come inside, like a Hakpo now, for instance, a striker like Mika can create space for them by dropping deep and all these type of things, which is actually what De Zerbi likes. It doesn't necessarily have to be the striker with the ball at his feet all the time. He can move across the front line, pull defenders away, attack space behind. That sort of movement can really be useful in De Zerbi's system, especially if Tottenham are going to have lots of possession and we're going to try to create transitional situations, because De Zerbi doesn't exactly like playing against low blocks. He tries to create transition situations by baiting the press. So when you come, you move forward and then the space is in behind. That's what he tries to do. So yeah, I think that is going to be very useful. But there's also a defensive question, and this is something that is also very important in the Zerbi system, and that's what pressing. Mika, I'm not convinced Mika is going to transform Tottenham's pressing, because his defensive numbers are not very impressive. He's not a striker that you're buying if you want defensive work, and this is something that is very important in De Zerbi's style of play, because if you look at our game against Getafe, for instance, aside from baiting the press, like I said, Tottenham want to attack space in behind, and one of the ways you can do that is by winning the ball up high and then having numbers against the opponent. So let's say now you press one of the centre backs and you win the ball up high, maybe a centre back and a full back, or maybe two full backs. Best case scenario, two full backs are there. You're able to like go 3v3, something like that, for instance, and you're not playing against the low block. Basically, create a transitional situation. So I'm not convinced that Mika is going to come here and do that, because he's not the type of striker you buy if you're looking for defensive work. You buy him for what he gives you in possession, what he gives you around the box. So I think Spurs need to know exactly what they're buying. And then we have the price. And this is where things get very interesting, because if Tottenham are being asked by, according to Polo Kiev, to pay around 70 million for Mika, I'm sorry, but I think we seriously have to question that, because his market value is around 25 to 32 million euros. Now, obviously, market value is different from the club's asking price. But Villarreal have him under contract till 2031, so they have no reason to sell cheaply. But 70 million pounds is still mad money, especially for somebody that is not exactly what we're looking for. I think at that price, you're not buying Mika as a squad option. You're buying him as the number 9 who is meant to solve Tottenham's problem. And I'm not sure it's that player. I think if I'm paying 70 million for a striker, I want a striker that gives me goals, physicality, aerial ability, hold up play, ability to lead the line, ability to press. Mika gives you goals, he gives you movement, he gives you technical quality, creativity, but it doesn't necessarily give you that physical presence. It doesn't necessarily give you that pressing. And considering Tottenham's specific need for height, according to the manager, that is something that I cannot just brush under the carpet. So would I sign Mika for Tottenham? I think I like the player, but if you're telling me that I'm going to sign him for 70 million, no. I think he's a good player, he can finish, he's good around the box, but 70 million is a madness. So I do think that Mika, I don't think that the question should be, is Mika good enough for Tottenham? I think he probably is good enough for Tottenham. but I think he doesn't necessarily fit what we're trying to do. If he did fit what we're trying to do, I would close my eyes and say, you know what, we signed Solanke for 65 million. We signed Richarlison for 60 million. Just close your eyes and pay the money. But this isn't exactly what we need. And for me, if somebody asked me, is Mika the type of striker that Tottenham need? I don't think I can say yes. Because if De Zerbi wants a highly technical number 9 who can combine with players, yes. But if De Zerbi wants a striker who can lead the line, dominate centre backs, give us that aerial threat, be a physical presence, give us that pressing ability, I'm looking elsewhere. And at £70 million, I would definitely be looking elsewhere. So, this is my own opinion. This is my own thoughts, or these are my own thoughts on Mika to Tottenham, especially at £70 million. So Spurs fans, let me know your thoughts and let me know what you thought about the video. Leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time on Not London Narratives. Take care, guys.